Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pot. My name is Shishi Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Listen, man, I'm back. And of course, we've got some more coffee to drink. Today, breaking news, Will Smith has released a 5-minute video apologizing to Chris Rock and his family for slapping him at the Oscars. So guys, it looks like the video that everybody has been waiting for of Will Smith directly just addressing this thing, no BS, himself is finally here. And as always, no more wasting time. Let's check it out.
Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did, and you know, that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and you know, I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. You know, we had a great relationship. You know, Tony Rock was my man. And this is probably irreparable. I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances and the complexities of what happened in that moment. And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, but I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. There's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults. After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, you know, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, babe. I'm gonna say sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us. To all my fellow nominees, you know, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me, and it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment. I can still see Questlove's eyes. You know, it happened on Questlove's award, and you know, it's like I'm sorry really isn't sufficient. What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down? So there's two things. One, disappointing people is my central trauma. I hate when I let people down. So it hurts. It hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me. And the work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself, right? I'm human, and I made a mistake, and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit. So I would say to those people, I know it was confusing. I know it was shocking. But I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And, you know, if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
All right, so first things first, man. Before I go on and do what I regularly do, which is like read comments from the people. Of course, we like to hear what the people have to say in reaction to this specific apology, 5-minute long apology. I want to say this. I think Will Smith did a good job kind of hitting all the different questions people had about that whole situation. Why didn't you apologize during your speech? He got up there, made a speech, and ignored the elephant in the room, which was weird, right? And then, of course, there was the question of him admitting that what he did was wrong, which he addressed. There's that. Before I read these comments, another thing that stood out to me about this situation, something very interesting I just realized about actors apologizing for mistakes. It's weird. It's weird because when you look at somebody like Will Smith and you know he's an actor and you see him apologizing, it's almost difficult to separate this from him acting and actually apologizing. I can't be the only one that felt that. It must be hard, like, especially if you're a really good actor. How do you get people to see that you're sincere versus you just basically acting, right? Really weird thing that was happening to me there where I was like, is he acting? I'm curious. Comment down below. How sincere do you guys think Will Smith was in his apology? But as always, man, we're going to check out these comments. We're going to see what the people have to say. So these comments are coming from The Spiritual Word on Instagram. Our first female commenter reads, some of y'all didn't watch and only commenting based on the caption. He tried to call him, and I'm assuming she's talking about Will Smith tried to reach out to Chris Rock. He tried to call him to apologize, and Chris told him he don't want to talk. Yeah, man, I actually remember the time that I think Jada Smith was the one that actually admitted that they tried to reach out to Chris, or she said she was open to them having a conversation. What I thought was weird about that whole thing was they wanted him to come on the Red Table Talks, right? The whole table thing with Jada Smith, and it seemed like she was trying to capitalize on the situation and feed off the clout of the situation. So I could understand why someone like Chris Rock, besides him being traumatized and just completely disrespected, I could understand why, if that's what they were talking about by we reached out to Chris Rock, I could understand why he didn't want to go on their show, right? The Red Table Talk show with Jada Smith and have a conversation with Jada Smith, right? That's the last person I would go seek counsel from or have as a mediator for any type of conversation. I'm sorry, Jada. Next comment says maturity with the applause emoji. Next, this commenter says, I love Will Smith regardless and love Chris. So as long as we can move on. This female commenter says, one thing about Will, he gonna take accountability. Next, this woman says, he's still dealing with stuff. He needs love and guidance. I hope he heals. Yeah, I agree with this statement. I think we can all see that Will Smith has sort of been going downhill for the past few years, ever since the entanglement situation, right? Ever since that situation, Will Smith has been going downhill. And hey, take what you want from their situation. I think open marriages are a very dangerous thing, obviously. This next female commenter says, I just love his spirit. He is so humble. I pray to reach this level of humility. Next, this is so sad. Literally can feel his pain and hurt through the screen. Hurt people, hurt people. This female commenter says, y'all dragging this whole situation at this point. ... Chris was out of pocket and Will Smith reacted in defense of his wife. Parentheses, regardless of how they may portray their relationship. I guarantee you, had it happened at the BET Awards and not the Oscars, y'all would have not had this much energy for it. With the eye roll emoji coming in at over 600 likes. And guys, these are the women who supported those actions. These are the women who want their men to act in this way, right? Put themselves in harm's way, risk their career. This is never coming off Will Smith's record. He understands this. He says, hey, I've had relationships with Chris Rock's brother, who he mentioned in the video, and he admitted that it seems like the consequences of his actions cannot be fixed, as in there's damage to the point where he's afraid he may not be able to mend the relationships, or they won't go back to what they used to be, which I agree. What he did was crazy. And any woman who supports that is part of the problem and should be avoided at all costs, not just to date, not just to bust cheeks, but also to associate yourself with that type of woman, right? This female commenter says, you made a mistake. It's okay, Will. God has forgiven you. That's all that matters. And hope Chris will be able to forgive you someday as well. He has a right to be in his feelings. We are only human. I don't think Chris Rock is in his feelings. I don't. I think he may just be over the situation. Will he address it? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he addresses it. I think at some point he might. But just because he hasn't gone on platforms and talked about it, I think the last time I saw him on an interview was on Kevin Hart's podcast. And they did not address this Will Smith situation. If they did, they may have just like lightly, indirectly talked about it, but I don't remember him actually talking about it, even on Heart to Heart, which is Kevin Hart's podcast. Just because you forgive somebody, just because you're over a situation and if you let it go, it doesn't always mean that you have to go and bring that person back into your life. Be old buddy. Get on camera and act like everything's good. Forgiveness doesn't mean that the consequences of your actions are taken away. There are people in your life that sometimes may cross a certain line in your life, and because forgiveness helps you more, you as a person more, to not walk around with that hurt, because it helps you and it will also help the other person, right? You can forgive that person and let go, but it doesn't mean that you have to bring that person back into your life. Sometimes the consequences do remain. Now, I'm not saying Chris Rock's like F Will Smith and, he's going to cut him off for life, but if he did, he wouldn't be wrong. And it doesn't mean that he hasn't forgiven him. Next comment says, and now we can move on, at least those of us who haven't yet. Exclamation marks. Next comment, this female commenter wants to know, when is Jada going to apologize for emasculating him repeatedly and publicly? Oh. We need answers. We need answers. And of course, man, the female empowerment women, the women who think that Will Smith was justified for his actions, obviously don't like this coffee.
This coffee smells like shit.
I think Jada needs to be up here apologizing for something. There's something she did, right? Between the look she gave Will Smith. Of course, he said, oh yeah, no, Jada did not tell me to go up there and do something when she looked at me. That's not what people were saying. People were saying she looked at you in disgust and you then felt compelled to do something. I don't remember hearing people say, maybe they did, but I don't remember people saying she told him go up there and smack the shit out of Chris Rock. That's not what I saw. I saw a woman that after you did that, she was smiling and laughing, right? Which showed approval for your actions. If she was against your actions, she wouldn't have been up there smiling and laughing after you did what you did. This commenter says, not on Bay Day. So obviously Beyonce just released her album and there were a bunch of comments like this, like, what are you doing? Stay belongs to Beyonce. This female commenter says, I don't think he needs to apologize. Listen, you guys would be surprised how many women actually think like this chick right here. There's an unusual amount of women who actually think Will Smith did the right thing. It's surprising. It did surprise me. And I gotta address this meme that I kept on seeing from black women in specific. I saw it on Instagram and I saw it on Twitter. It was black women saying, when we say protect black women, this is what we mean. Really? This is what you mean? You want your boyfriend, your brother, your husband, your male guardians, protectors, the men in your life, to risk their reputation to this extent over a joke. That's ridiculous. And again, man, you want to stay away from people who actually think that attacking comedians on stage is okay, especially women, because if you're dating a woman who encourages you to do things like that, that means she's not afraid to put you in situations where you are risking your life, your career, your reputation, etc. But yeah, man, overall, Will Smith's apology did come across sincere. He went to India, and I don't know who he spoke to in India, but this does seem like Will Smith is headed in the right direction addressing this specific situation. Here's something interesting about Will Smith. I don't think I've ever seen him this vulnerable before. If you look at Will Smith's brand, he rarely comes across real, genuine. You go watch his TikTok videos, you know, it's like real commercial. He's politically correct in almost everything that he does. He's smiling in every single video. Even, you know, I take that back. Red Table Talks was another situation where Will Smith was obviously being very vulnerable. But it's always when something tragic has happened, right? You see the guy in interviews, he's never like just himself, the real him, instead of trying to paint this like, oh, Will Smith, hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, hi.